everybody, it's Georgia Rose, and I am in the Zencuda. I was doing the wrong side. The Zencuda soul space. I know everything's reversed on camera. Got to get used to that. You'd think after 4 years I would be used to seeing reversed images. So welcome everybody to the Soul Space. This is the Zencuda Soul Space, and I'm here every Monday night at 7 o'clock to bring you some astrology and some spiritual wisdom, and sometimes we have guests. So if you're on your soul path to finding your purpose and your soul's intention, you're in the right place. So welcome, welcome. Going to see who's on in a few minutes. I'd love to tell you guys about a new course that I'm doing. It's going to actually start on June 21st. We're going to do our online masterminds on Zoom that'll introduce the course. That's called Jupiter in Gemini, Awaken Your Truth. And we have a couple of graphics that we can put up about that. It's going to be great. We're going to have it's limited to only a few people because I'm actually going to be working with you and your personal charts. So this is actually an amazing opportunity to work with me along with meeting like-minded people in a very safe and supportive environment. And during the class, the reason why it's called Awaken Your Truth is because the Jupiter in Gemini energy comes in for a year. That's in Gemini. And it actually helps us really get in touch with our soul space and find out what our own personal truths are. Jupiter in Gemini is an energy that helps us stand in our truth and stand in our own personal strength, and we need to speak it and embody it. And so we're going to talk about that a lot in that class. So we'll talk a little more about Jupiter and Gemini later in the show. Right now, I want to welcome some of you. Let me go on and do that. See who's popping into the soul space while everybody piles in. Give everybody a few minutes to do that tonight. Hey, Joanne. Darlene is on. I think Darlene is actually interested in that class. Sarah is going to be there probably too. And Cheryl is on. Hey, hi, thanks, Cheryl. That's very sweet of you to say. So tonight I'm going to do a little bit of astrology, and then I want to, what's going on with the planets right now, and then I want to talk a little bit about our sun signs, whatever your birth sign is. You know how you meet somebody and they say, oh, I'm a Libra, and you say, oh, I'm a Scorpio, I'm a Sagittarius. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight and what that means for you. Not in the traditional descriptive sense, like when you pick up your local magazine or newspaper and they tell you what your sun sign is, but more in the idea of how does that relate to your soul? Because planets speak to our soul. Planets speak in different transits. Right now we have Mars in Taurus, and Mars just went into Taurus a couple of days ago, and in doing that, the energy kind of changes. Some of you may have felt a shift somewhere around over the weekend when the energy felt a little bit heavier and more grounded. When Mars is in Taurus, it's not really at home in that sign. It is in the opposite sign of what it's really used to, and sometimes Mars in Taurus, I have the fly in here. Sometimes Mars in Taurus can make us really stand our ground and be very stubborn and entrenched in our ideals and in our own belief systems and in what we think is right. So that's going to add a little more fuel to the fire that we're seeing out there in the world with the polarization that's going on. So Mars in Taurus actually is an energy that comes in and makes us more determined that we're right. It makes us more determined to be a little feisty, but not in the way it did when it was in Aries. Mars in Taurus is more of a steady, unforgiving energy. And as it just went into Taurus, it's squaring Pluto in Aquarius. So that Mars square Taurus is an energy of disruption. It's an energy of conflict. It can be an energy of really digging our heels in because we think we're right. And even when we find out maybe we're not so right, we're still not going to give in. That's really how the energy is going to play out right now. So I am just going to share the show because I actually forgot to do that. I was so excited talking about my online class that we're doing. I'm going to share the show, and where am I here? Where's my share button? And here we are. And if you at home want to share the show, I would really, really love that too. And if we have time later, we're going to pull some cards. Post that. And we're going to post this one. Okay. So I want to talk a little more about Mars and Taurus because this energy is going to be with us for a little while, and it can be a very combustible energy as well. Mars is our action. It's what we want to do, or how we want to take action in our life to be very firm in our delivery of things. You know, especially we have all those planets still in Gemini. This can be our words, and you might find that people are really warring with words and saying things that are provocative. So in this energy, you definitely want to make sure that you're watching your words, and you're also taking time before you post and send emails and do all those kinds of things, because in this energy, which is going to be with us for about a month, you're going to find that it can come in and really add some fuel to the fire. And it's the type of thing that's not a combustion, but it's a slow burn. So it's not going to go out very, very easily. So just be mindful of that. Mars in Taurus is also an energy of earth and nature. So if you feel yourself getting a little frustrated or annoyed, it's a really good month to go out in nature, try and ground in that energy. Also, Mars in Taurus can be our money. It can be the things that we value, the things that we think we need for our survival. And that's what makes people really dig in their heels when they think they're right, because it's like their survival depends on it when Mars is in Taurus. So you're going to see that people are going to be a bit stubborn and a bit, feisty. Not a great combination all the time. So just stick that in your little hats, and hopefully you will have a good month. So just sharing the show to another site. Like I said, if you're home and you think that people will benefit from the show, you can show it too. Okay, so let's get going. So that's my little spiel about Mars and Taurus. Let's see where the other energies are right now. I'm going to give you a little rundown of the week ahead anyway, next 7 days. Okay, so we've got Mars in Taurus now. The moon is also going to end. Oh, sorry. Venus is actually sextile in Chiron. That's a good energy. That happens on Wednesday. And when Venus and Chiron are having a conversation, it means that the things we value and the things we really love can be very healing and comforting for us. So Tuesday, Wednesday is a good day to get that massage, do something that is going to make you feel comforted and healing. We also have, as Mars is in Taurus, we also have the sun squaring Saturn, which is also a little bit of an energy of tension. When the sun squares Saturn, we can feel limited in the things that we want to do. It's like we want to burn bright and fulfill our full potential and go somewhere within our life direction. But Saturn says, wait a minute, we have some limitations here that we want you to really look at, because we want you to do things right, not out of impulse. So it can be a week where the things that you really want to get done and the things that you really want to do, you may end up doing them twice, or taking 2 steps forward and a step back, and then finding that when you finally do accomplish them, they're actually much better than if you had just jumped in. So we got that Mars squaring Pluto. We've got the sun squaring Saturn. Not great energies, but that's okay. The moon is also what we call void of course the next few days. So that means that the moon is, not really in a sign that's giving us any kind of really big energy. But on Friday, that moon will enter Libra, and that's good because it'll bring a little bit of balance and a little bit of cooperation with others coming in. We've also got the sun conjuncting Mercury on Friday, which is great because that sun in square to Saturn, as much as that made things limiting, when the sun conjuncts Mercury, it breaks our ideas up. It makes our speech come out alive. But also, since we've got that Mars squaring Taurus, you want to watch your words. You're going to want to speak, especially as we go into Thursday to Friday. You're going to want to have more communication. You're going to want to have the talk with someone. And it may not be the best time to do that. You may be better off waiting at least until next week. I would say definitely after like the 18th or so, when the moon is then going to be in Sagittarius, because on the Monday the 16th or Sunday the 16th, we have Venus squaring Neptune, and that's really when you don't want to have those serious conversations. So just turning my phone off because I heard it just go off in my pocket, and we don't want that to happen while we're on screen. So if anybody has any questions about the astrology, you can call in the show. Carmine, our assistant, is going to put that number up on the screen, or just throw something out in the comments, and I'll be glad to answer some astrology questions that you have for me tonight. And then the big thing that happens this month in a couple of weeks, or I should say in about 10 days, is on the 21st, we have the moon going into Capricorn, and we have a full moon at the first degree of Capricorn on the 21st. And this is right on the heels of the summer solstice on the 20th. So if you're planning, and the moon prior to that is just in Sagittarius on the 19th. So by the 21st, we have the solstice that already happened, and we have the moon going into Capricorn for a full moon that evening. Now, when that happens, it's a great time to start a new project. It's a great time to tie up loose ends. It's also a great time for us to, if there's anything that we really want to move forward in our life direction. Capricorn is life direction and structure, business. Capricorn is also the energy of breaking free from tradition, which has a lot to do with Mars in Taurus, which I'm going to talk a little bit deeply about in a minute. So on that 20th, 21st, 22nd, as the summer solstice comes in and we start a whole new season, that's a great time to set your intention for whatever you want the next season to bring and really anchor into your direction for your life. Not just short term, but long term. Because if you play back the show from last week, I talk about how the energy is being set up right now for the future. And with all the planets that we have in Gemini, with Pluto in Aquarius, these are air signs that are propelling us forward. We're getting a glimpse right now of what 2025, 26, and 27 are really going to be like. So especially on this summer solstice, when we really have amazing light and amazing energy, moon is in Capricorn, lighting up the areas of our life that have to do with direction and stepping out of prior conditioning. Fabulous, fabulous time to start something new and set our goals, especially with Jupiter in Gemini there and all those planets in Gem. Man, this is like very futuristic, very propelling ourselves forward energy. Now, that being said, it may not feel like that in our daily life. We may feel like things are moving a little slower, or there's a lot of activity but not accomplishment. That's okay. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of things being orchestrated that are going to propel us forward. So keep one foot in front of the other and keep doing your routine, keep doing the things that you need to do, make your lists, check them twice. In Gemini, you're going to do things twice. It's going to be doubled up. But I'm telling you, this is a good time to start the move forward. Start the move forward. Don't get frustrated if it doesn't really go yet. We're on the launch pad. We're checking all the gauges. We're making sure everything's right. We're making sure the payload isn't too heavy. That's kind of where we're at right now. Okay? So if you want to call into the show, it is 516-545-5099. Can't see it without glasses on. And that's about it for the next week in astrology, and then we have other stuff. So only thing I want else to say about the Mars in Taurus squaring Pluto thing is this is an energy that can make us feel like we're held back. But what's really coming up for you, and kind of go into introspection and analyze it if you feel like that, what's really coming up in this energy are the things that we hold on to because we think our survival depends on it. We have these constructs that we run in our minds, and we have these traditions and these conditions that we are brought up with that our environments tell us we have to do, whether that's a job protocol or a protocol of life or religion or a cultural thing. And an energy like this, those things can really rise to the surface. And we can be stubborn about it and want to blame other energy, like, oh, my mother did this to me, or my father did this to me, or my boss is unrelenting, or my culture doesn't allow me to do something. But what you really want to do in this energy is look underneath that and realize that we have a choice to move forward. And what we're coming on is an amazing time where we really can release those shackles that are holding us. And a lot of times that is a structure that we were brought up with, or that's been a real conditioning in our life. So I don't know if that call is for us on the show.
Hi, is she taking calls? Because I came in late, so I don't know if she said anything about that yet.
I am. You have somebody on the line. We'll get to in a sec. So should I pick up, Carmine?
Oh, hi.
Hi, this is Georgia Rose. You're on the Soul Space.
From Queens. Hi, I figured I might as well ask you, not that personal questions that I wanted to DM you, but...
Okay, what's your question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know because I'm trying to decide if I need to get a reading with you or take this course because I don't know how much a reading is. But since you've upgraded yourself, I really was more interested with your soul, something you studied about soul stuff. So I'm just curious if this is somewhat, it's probably not involved in this Jupiter class, right?
No,
It's not.
actually, that is. I mean, I'm an evolutionary astrologer, Pauline. So everything that I do is in regards to soul. It's my belief
Okay.
that Pluto in the
Yeah.
chart is the soul, and there's a whole way that we actually read the chart for that. So I would absolutely, do the course. I think you're going to get a lot out of it. I know we've spoken before, and you've really been on the path to find your soul space. So that course is really going to help you, especially because it'll give you energies that you can work with over the next year. Okay?
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling in. That was very sweet. So, as I was saying, the Taurus energy is an energy that can make us really have these restrictions or feel heavy, especially with Sun and Saturn squared as well. But look underneath that, because sometimes those restrictions are coming from a cultural thing or from a thing that we are brought up with or a construct that we really isn't true, is what I'm saying. So go into your truth. An example would be, maybe you are coming into your sexuality and it's unconventional, and it's not really unconventional for today's standard, but because of the way you grew up and your family, they will think it's unconventional. So you're not living your life and you're blaming the family. Well, it's really not the family's fault. It's always within us to speak our truth. And so those are the kind of things that will come up in this energy, the constructs that we have a tendency to blame others for and need to clear from our life. So I'm going to go back to just the comments for a minute and see where we're at. If anybody else has a question that you want to call in, definitely just do. Oh, Stephanie says she made a list. I love that, Stephanie. That is amazing. I'm a list person. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a list person, and I feel like when I make a list, it helps me to organize my thoughts. And especially in this Gemini energy where our thoughts can be a little bit scattered, we have a lot on our minds. In this energy, making a list will really help. So I'm going to go through some of the questions that I have. Hi, Gira. How are you? Hey, Kim. How are you doing? We have somebody on that Carmine needs to delete. A bot is on. And hello, Gira. I said Anita. Anita asks, is this for any sign in particular? What I would say is that if you're talking about the course, any sign, we're going to be working with your personal chart within the course. So hopefully by the end of the course, you'll have a little bit of a foundation for how the Jupiter in Gemini energy is working in your chart. Because every chart has Gemini energy. We're going to go into where that is in your chart and what house it's affecting. So you'll know exactly how to use this energy to manifest your own personal truths. And Kim says she's been scattered lately. Gemini energy also has a reputation for being scattered. However, I like to think, and what a lot of the evolutionary astrologers I work with like to think, is that the energy isn't really scattered. Gemini energy is actually just extremely curious. And sometimes that curiosity will be a little bit out of control. So we'll bounce from one thing to another because in our curiosity, we are having so many questions, we keep wanting them answered. Gemini loves information. That's why it's a sign of communication. Ruled by Mercury, which is a messenger of the gods, as we say, you're going to find a lot of information. I know I've stopped watching the news feeds because I felt like it was so much information. Like, what are we supposed to do with all this information? It's too much. It's really too much. So I stopped watching the news feeds for a while. So in Gemini energy, we will all feel a little bit of energy overwhelm, information overwhelm. That's very normal. Very, very important to ground in nature. Go out, put your feet on the ground, listen to meditation music. Don't watch television before you go to sleep because your brain's going to work overload. I actually had trouble sleeping last week, which I never, ever, ever do. And it was right around that new moon. So definitely want to see that list, Steffers. Okay, so Pauline is saying my Taurus is in MC at birth or transit. I forget, Leo rising. Taurus on the MC, the medium coli, as we call it, is actually the MC is got a lot to do with our vocation and what we do in the world for a living, what we do to make money in the world. So having Taurus at your MC, I will tell you, you probably like to garden. That's going to be a Taurian thing. Taurus is an earth sign. And also with Taurus on the MC, anything to do with home, creature comforts. A lot of people who have Taurus at the top of their chart like you do, or a 10th house Taurus, which governs our work, will be masseuses or physical therapists, or something to do with, pedicures, manicures, massage therapists, because they're really into those creature comforts. Cooking is another Taurian thing. Cooking also grounds us. That's a great tip when we have a lot of Gemini energy or we feel scattered, is to make a meal, because it will bring all five senses down. And by cooking a meal, we actually go into our sight, our smell, our touch, our taste. So we're in the body. So it's a very somatic feeling, and it grounds us. Anything that puts you in the body and makes you feel like you're fully present is really, really important for this energy. There's someone named Kate Mayon that we have to delete, guys. I don't know why we're getting all these bots, but we seem to get them. Okay, so I am actually going to go to what this show is about, and I'm calling it Soul Shine Astrology for tonight, something that I kind of just came to today. And in the chart, wherever our sun sign is, like I'm a Libra sun, I was born in October, whatever your sun sign is wherever you're born, that sign is called your sun sign, because your sun is in that part of the chart. And in evolutionary astrology, we believe the planets speak to each other. You know, when things are squared or things are having a conversation that's in harmony, it affects everything that we do in our life, in our personal chart. So where our sun sign is in the chart, it's actually having a conversation with your soul and your soul's intention in this life. The sun will be where your soul wants to shine through. The sun is your life direction. It's how you will maneuver and operate. Think about it. The sun revolves, right? We have night and day every day. It's a revolution and evolution. So the soul is evolving through the sun and the life direction in the chart. So I'm going to go through all 12 signs. And if you listen and have any questions about your particular sign, definitely, see if you can maybe have something that resonates with you or gives you valuable insight into how you could use your sun for life direction. So if you are an Aries sun is going to want you to emerge. It's emergence. Aries sun are people who are fully present. Now, I know a lot of times Aries is a sign of the ram, and people will say, well, I'm a take charge person. I want to, be independent and take charge. That is true. A lot of times when your sun is in Aries, what the soul is really wanting you to do is emerge into your authentic self, to be fully present, because Aries can be very impulsive and fast-paced. If you've ever gone on a hike with an Aries, they're usually a few paces ahead of you. It's just a very fast energy. It's an independent energy because it's an energy of emergence and rebirth and birth. So if your sun sign is in Aries, your soul is telling you to take up space and become something. It's traditionally the first sign in the zodiac. That's why it's all about emergence. So what your soul is really saying to you is find your pattern of emergence and bloom into it. Become what you are supposed to be becoming. Emerge, take up space, be fully present. Because a lot of times Aries move so quickly through something, they don't really take up space. They're not fully present. Your soul decided to give you an Aries sun so that it could shine on that area of being fully present and emerging into who you truly are. If you are a Taurus energy, we were talking a lot about Mars and Taurus. Well, if your sun is in Taurus, your soul is speaking to you directly, saying, use your energy correctly. Because Taurus is all about self-preservation and preserving things. In Taurus, it's an earth sign. It's how things grow from the earth. A lot of gardeners have a lot of Taurus energy in their chart. So when you have a sun in Taurus, your soul is shining on that part of the zodiac because it wants you to understand what is a self-preservation mechanism and what is not. Where is your energy best spent? Where can you preserve your energy for its best use? Or where are you restricting yourself, thinking you need to be in self-preservation because you don't feel safe, when really you need to feel safe within yourself? So let me say that again. So the sun in Taurus is all about self-preservation, but the correct use of energy. Restriction versus freedom. It's really that kind of a battle, because where do you self-protect and don't allow yourself to truly go out and use your energy correctly? And where do you keep space inward in order to preserve and protect yourself, and by that, doing that, limit and restrict yourself? The sun is shining on that part of your life with that message because it wants you to learn the correct use of energy, the discernment of when it's safe. Safety is within myself. I'm safe to move wherever I want in the world because I can no longer be restricted by fear. I'm safe wherever I am in my own energy. That's the correct use of the Taurus sun. If you're a Gemini sun, the embodiment of your soul in this lifetime is going to be to figure out what's light and what's dark, what's true and what's not, what allows you to go into your own personal truth through your curiosity. So the sun is lighting up that curiosity. The sun is lighting up your need for information. The sun is lighting up your communication, because that's how you feel safe and that's how you interpret messages. Mercury, the messenger, is ruling your sign. So with the sun there, that your soul has come in to light up that area of your life so you can understand multiplicity, paradoxes. You will figure out what's true and what's not true. And the sun is going to shine that light on those things so that you understand two things can be true at the same time. I have to learn how to decipher the information. What is useless to me and what is useful? What is light? What is dark? What is true? What is false? Your soul wants you to understand those lessons in this lifetime. If you are a Cancer sun, your soul is seeking safety and security in this lifetime. But the way your soul knows safety and security really comes in with the Cancer sun is by shining a light on the safety and finding that embodiment of safety within, the home within you. Not the shell that you crawl into, not pulling the blankets over your head, not detaching and going into a shell. The sun in Cancer wants you to understand that your stability depends on you. The embodiment of safety and security is your inner landscape. And once you know you're safe there, you can travel anywhere in your world, in your universe, and feel safe. That's what the sun is highlighting for you, and your soul is speaking to you as a Cancer sun. If you are a Leo sun, this is all about awakening your solar self and stepping out into light. It's about creativity. The sun is shining. The soul is giving you the message of stepping into that beautiful lion heart and not being afraid to be creative enough to form and create your own life with your solar light. That beautiful light within you shining out onto people. That's what the Leo sun is doing, shining that light on that part of your life and giving you the soul's message of the embodiment of awakening yourself, self-validation, understanding that by letting your light shine, you're validating who you are as a person. I'm a person. I need to be seen. That is what your soul is saying to you with the sun in Leo. When your sun is in Virgo, this is all about adjustment. The sun shines there for the soul's message of adjustment, not being judgmental, not being picky, not seeing everything as imperfect, but understanding that through adjustment, everything is perfect, and that those adjustments don't come from us adjusting the thing, the person, the environment. The adjustment comes from within us with the Virgo sun, shining a light on our ability to understand the loss of imperfection, accept it, adjust to it, and find our own competency to be able to adjust to how the world is beautifully imperfect. If the sun is shining in the Libra section of your chart, this is an area where you're learning balance, but not just balance that I'm going to get up at the same time every day and go to bed at the same time every day. The Libra sun shines on the soul's message of balance through relationship. Not just how someone treats you, but how you treat them. When the sun is in Libra, the soul is configuring through relationship, showing you balance through relationship by going out, connecting with another, and then bringing that connection back into the self for discernment and understanding. So we're not living through the other. We're taking information, we're taking energy, we're taking connection and bringing it into our own soul space to configure ourself, not being dependent, but intra-dependent with one another. That's the beautiful message of the sun in Libra as it speaks to our soul. And the sun in Scorpio, if you are an intense and beautifully vibrant Scorpio sun, this energy is about attachments. And the soul comes into the sun in Scorpio, and the message is awakening to death by living life. What does that mean? It means that when you have Scorpio sun, the soul will bring you into this lifetime with attachments to things. You're intense, you're possessive. But the real embodiment story is to understand that those attachments are impermanent. Nothing is forever. Everything dies. Energy always transforms into a different form, a different thing, right? Flowers die, go into the ground, and become reborn. So all things die, but energy never dies. That's why I'm able to give psychic readings, because someone's body may die, but the soul energy lives on. Energy never dies, but it's impermanent in whatever form it takes. So in Scorpio, with the sun there, the soul's message is understand that cycle of death to understand the cycle of life and live life through death. So it becomes an energy of awakening to that embodiment story and severing attachments, understanding that what we're attached to is the root of our pain, the source of our pain. And when we accept things and merge with them, instead of attaching to them, we become healthy and we understand what life really is. I'll use my dog Sparky as an example. Sparky died 2 years ago. It seems like yesterday. For 12 years, he and I were joined at the hip. He was my constant companion. He came to me in the worst time of my life and revived me and brought me back to life. But I always knew from the moment I took him and had him and graced my life with him that we were meant to walk together for a time, and that he would probably pass before me, and I'd have to one day face that. So when I got the dog, I vowed 2 things. Number 1, to appreciate every moment of time I had with him, because I didn't know how long that would be. And the other thing was that I was never going to leave him, that I would never abandon him. And Sparky and I were together until he took his final breath with his paw in my hand and me petting him and whispering in his ear. And it was the most beautiful merging of a fur baby and me, 2 souls, because I believe animals have souls, that I've ever experienced. I would have had a lot more pain if I was so attached to him that I feared his death. But I wasn't. I learned about life through death, and I learned that it would be an impermanent attachment, and so I merged with him. That's the Scorpio message when you have a Scorpio sun. If you have a Sagittarius sun, this is all about opening up. It's about expansion. Sagittarius wants to talk about the bigger picture. It wants to show us the bigger picture. It wants us to step into the bigger picture and dream the impossible dream and have imagination. So the sun in Sagittarius awakens the inner explorer. If you want to travel and you have a Sagittarius sun or a lot of Sagittarius energy in your chart, absolutely do it, because you will find your personal belief systems and identity and truth within those travels. And awakening the inner explorer is the message of the soul with the sun in Sagittarius. And sometimes we awaken the inner explorer by laying on our couch and doing a shamanic journey or a meditation or just dreaming a dream. Sagittarius tells us when the sun is there and shines light on the soul's message of everything starts with imagination. If we can't dream it, we can't imagine it, we can't bring its form into reality. Dreaming potential into form is all about Sagittarius energy. It's the embodiment of expansion, opening up, and awakening our inner explorer. That is your message if your sun is in Sagittarius. All about finding our inner truth as we go on those journeys of awakening the inner explorer. And if you are a Capricorn sun, Capricorn is all about self-definition and responsibility. The sun there shines a light on a lot of tradition, conditioning. Sometimes with a Capricorn sun, you can grow up very restricted or defensive, detached, because you might feel put upon, or you may feel like your family of origin gave you so many things that didn't sit right with you or weren't truly your authenticity, but yet you felt like you had to conform. With Capricorn sun there, it's about breaking free from that. It's about an arc of development of what is defining me. The soul speaks to the sun there and says, what are you becoming? Is it authentic, or is it someone else's dream? Are you climbing the proverbial mountain as the mountain goat, the symbol of Capricorn, because it's expected of you and you're rising to the occasion? Because when you get to the top of that mountain, you're going to ask yourself, what is defining me? And that begins the vision quest of true stability, true authenticity, and truth. And that is the soul's message in Capricorn. That not only gaining wealth and material things and goal setting and meeting goals, not only is that accomplishment, but the real accomplishment is how you develop the self-mastery of what is defining you and who are you becoming. That's what the soul says to the sun in Capricorn. In Aquarius, it's all about our individuation, but not just going out and being individuals. Nowadays, individuation has become homogenized. We have a society of young people who all are screaming for their individuality while they wear the same clothes, listen to the same music, and follow the same themes. That's not individuation. That's unconventionality. That's a consensus of unconventionality. And so in Aquarius, the soul comes in and speaks to the sun. And the sun shines a light on things that are like a nucleus, that are all together in a way, in a community. And the soul comes in and says, we need to break this apart. Because in order for you to truly individuate, you have to step out of the consensus, you have to step out of the collective and find your authenticity. And even if that is unconventional, you are meant to accept it and live in your unconventionality and allow it to go forth in the world and be a pioneer for that, not following these trends, not following the consensus. Aquarius says, step out of the consensus, step out of what everyone else is doing, and embrace your individuality and uniqueness in a very unconventional way. So Aquarius is the breaking apart, oftentimes, of what we think is the norm, what we think we have to do because society has set up certain rules. And Aquarius comes in and breaks those apart, and the soul and the sun speak to each other, and they say for a very brief time, where have I been taken to? This feels foreign to me. I don't fit in here. And the soul's journey with the sun in Aquarius is to find the place you do fit in and accept your own individuality, your own unconventional things, and allow yourself to be a part of a community that accepts that, where everyone's different and everyone's beautiful and everyone's unique. And finally, if your sun is in Pisces, you are probably in a culmination life. This is a time and an energy when the sun is in Pisces where you are here to culminate and end a lot of things that you've brought forward from other lives. This is a very inspiring sun. This is a time when sometimes it can feel as though you're becoming unbound because things are pushing you to the brink, pushing you to the limits. You can feel a flooding coming in at times. And sometimes what we do when we feel this fraying apart with the sun in Pisces, and that'll be a running theme in life for you, is we will gravitate towards what people want to hear. We will gravitate to insincerity. And the soul comes in and speaks to the sun in Pisces and says, how are you becoming unbound? And where can you find anchoring? Where can you find connection? And the sun finds that connection in Pisces with source energy, with creator, with divinity, with connecting with other realms, through meditation, through religion, through going to church, through ritual and ceremony. And now that question of where have I been taken to? I feel this flooding of energy that nothing feels right for me. Now that energy becomes, I'm home, I'm at peace, I've returned to source. So the sun and the soul will come into Pisces energy and cause fraying apart and decay, just like the milk that's spoiled in your refrigerator. But when you throw it out, it returns to the earth, it returns to source, right? That's what Pisces energy does. It returns us to source so that we can find the place where we're truly at home, and then take that energy forward into building something anew that feels right for us and stops the flooding. So those are all of the sun signs, and I hope that I gave you some valuable energy besides what you read in the newspaper or you hear online when someone says, oh, you're a Gemini sun, you're scattered. Please don't believe those descriptions, and please don't embody them for who you are and what you are. Instead, really ask yourself, is that true? Well, maybe it is, but why would my soul make me scattered? Maybe my soul isn't scattered. Maybe I'm just really curious because I want information in order to be a pioneer with something, or I'm looking for information because that's what makes me feel safe, or I'm looking for information because I'm really seeking my truth. And when you read about the Libra sun in the newspaper or on a video and you hear them say, oh, it's all about relationships, you need balance, go to the gym, eat right. Maybe you can look a little deeper and realize that balance doesn't come from the other person or from a daily routine. But balance comes from taking introspection after we've connected in relationship with another and brought that energy back to ourselves and configured ourselves with it. Was that opinion they had of me true? Do I like what they like? Through others, we learn about ourselves. We're not supposed to become the other. So I hope that, you can always play this video back again, rewatch our Soul Space podcast, send it to somebody if you really want them to understand what their soul space is about as far as the sun goes. And of course, these are very broad interpretations because your particular chart may have different configurations with planets and where your moon is, and it all plays in. And your chart is very dynamic. It's constantly moving. So you want to make sure you consult an astrologer. And if you're looking for a reading with me, I am definitely easy to find. And I'm going to look at the comments right now, see if you guys, any of this resonates with you. Okay. So Pauline's just having some problems. Kim Murray says, always seeking truth. You must have Sagittarius in your chart, Kim. Christina Pepe says, thank you. Thank you for watching. Pauline says there is another sign, 13th, between Scorpio and Sagittarius. I don't believe that. There are 12 signs of the zodiac. There were 12 apostles. If someone calls me today and says, hey, there's 13 zodiac signs. No, there's not. The cosmos have not suddenly shifted drastically. All right. I just don't believe that. You can believe what you want. I just don't. And just looking at the comments. Sorry, guys. Okay. Anybody want to put a comment in? I will check it out. Oh, Darlene says she's a Taurus, and yes, very picky as I got older where to place my energy. That's it, that discernment, right? Sometimes, Darlene, that discernment saves us because when we're younger, we give so much out and so much out. And I always say, I have a little thing on my mirror at home that says, not everything deserves your attention, because I'm a Libra sun. So I always want to make sure I make people feel okay. We're the diplomats of the zodiac. But now I'm just like, no, you know what? Call me from the car because I don't really have the time. It's a great little thing to do. So definitely sign up for that course of Awakening Your Truth, Jupiter and Gemini energy. It's not just for Geminis, it's for everybody. And you don't need a lot of astrology experience to do that course. We'll be pulling your charts through the introductory, and I'm also going to give you guys, if you sign up, a video to keep that is all about how to download your free birth chart, which you'll be using in the course. And also this particular course, the videos are yours to keep. It's all videoed. When we meet once a week for our mastermind class, that's a video recording too. So if you miss a mastermind class, you'll have the video forever. And I'll be doing that with all my online classes. So thank you so much for tuning in this evening. This is the energy I source my life from. This is my soul space. This is my soul purpose. And I'm so terribly grateful that I get to bring it to all of you and share my wisdom, because I learn from all of you guys too. And that's the community that we're going to create. My new websites and new community will be up and running soon. I have a meeting with my web designer tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have that up for you in the next week or so. But you can sign up for that class. There is a link in all my social medias, and I'll put a link below in the comments for that. And also, if you're looking for a reading, you can find me on Zencuda.com. You can book a reading there. You can DM me on any of my social sites. Facebook is Zencuda Soul Space, and my Instagram is Zencuda Official. So I hope you'll be part of the Zencuda community, where we are absolutely strong about our Zen and we don't let anybody disturb it. You hear me? So have a great week. Don't let anybody come in and disturb your Zen. Meditate. Make sure you're going out, putting your feet in the grass. We've got a lot of airy energy out there and you want to ground. Thanks so much. I'll see you on social. Bye-bye.